Yeah, I just wanted to do a video on propagating Brugmansia. Brugmansia are a type of plant that are subtropical, and they can do quite well in temperate climates during the spring, summer, and fall. And then the winter time, they essentially go dormant, and you put them in a place that won't freeze, like a garage or a greenhouse, and they go dormant. You don't water them, and then you bring them out in the spring and they come to life, and they have beautiful blooms on them with an amazing smell. And the smell of the blooms is very pronounced at night. So only like a few blooms will make your entire garden smell amazing. It's just a great plant. So here's my Brugmansia. This is a pink bloom variety. I don't know exactly what species it is, but as you can see, I pruned it back to get it ready for dormancy for the winter. So what you see right now is it's pruned back state, and all the cuttings that I take from this Brugmansia, I don't just chuck them out. I actually make little plants out of them, out of the cuttings. So I'll show you how that's done. And you can just share them with your friends or make more plants out of them, sell them, whatever. So these are a few of the cuttings that I took from a few of my Brugmansias. And essentially what you want to do is you take the cutting from a thick part of the wood, preferably the wood that's a bit older. So as you see on this mature Brugmansia, the wood on it is quite gray and not very green. The new growth will be more green. So when you're cutting these up, you try and pick the more mature stems. So for an example, this is a fairly green stem, so that's, I wouldn't pick that one as a cutting, but I would pick stems that come off of these thicker, more grayish branches. And the reason I do that is they'll root easier, they're less prone to rotting, and they'll most likely bloom quicker for you. Now, an interesting fact about Brugmansia is that they will not bloom until they fork. So here's another Brugmansia I have growing in the greenhouse. I'm actually overwintering in the greenhouse, so this one is normally outside. But if you follow this stem all the way up, you'll notice at one point it forks right there. So where it forks, where there's a Y, anywhere above there, it will start to bloom. And it'll start to bloom on those branches. So until it does that, you will not have any blooms. So this one actually has two main stalks coming up, and this one was taken from a cutting. So you can see the original cutting there, and then it has two branches out of the cutting, but technically those branches, they need to fork before it will bloom. So up here all the way up, and then a fork, and then after that it's able to bloom and develop buds. Now, because it's winter time right now and this thing is essentially going into dormancy, I'll stop watering it, it will drop all its leaves, and then it will just stay in a dormant state until spring, until temperatures warm up and I start watering it again. So back to the cuttings. These cuttings, once you have them cut, you want to cut them at about 6 to 8 inches in length. You don't want to do them too short. And then what you do is you take a little jar or a glass of water, fill it a few inches up, and you put the cuttings into water. And then within a few days to a week, you'll start seeing little white bumps starting to form. on the wood, on the stem, and that's the beginnings of the roots. And then another week or two and you'll start getting roots shooting out, just like this. And you'll be amazed. These things are very prolific, and you can take a cutting and make many plants out of this, out of one Brugmansia. And of course I have them labeled just so I know what they're from. And once they have this many roots, this one's even good, you can put them in soil. And then once you put them in soil, they'll start taking off and growing. Now, because it's winter time right now, you can leave them in this water, but you do want to change that water every couple days. You don't want to let the water get funky. Or you can plant them in soil and they will grow, but you want to kind of limit their growth because right now is not summertime. They're going to be in a greenhouse. So just water them from time to time, but don't let it get too wet, the soil, because they could also rot. And if they start rotting, you'll see the leaves will fall off and then the bottom will be real soggy. Anyways, I hope that was informative for those that want to grow Brugmansia or want to give Brugmansia a try or have Brugmansias. There's also two groups of Brugmansias. There's a warm group and a cold group. And the warm group, basically in subtropical climates, if you have it in temperate climates, you want to bring it in and let it go dormant when the weather gets cool outside. The cold group, which I'll post a picture of a cold group Brugmansia I have, they're good in cold weather. They can actually take down below freezing, and mine's blooming prolifically outside right now and the temperature's cool. So there are two different groups you could try, and there's all kinds of hybrids and cultivars that have been developed with different flowers, all kinds of colors, all kinds of smells. So there's lots to try out. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll post a few photos of different Brugmansias that I have and give them a try. They're an amazing plant, and the smell, once you smell a Brugmansia, you'll never get over it. It's just an amazing scent. Anyways, that's it for now. Have a great day. Talk to you later.